bigger problem is now, what am I supposed to believe?
Now it looks like I killed her, and all I can tell you is I didn't.
On August 30th, 2011, Officer Ken Bluew discovered the body of 32-year-old Jenny Webb, 8 months pregnant in a secluded area of Buena Vista Township, Michigan. An electrical cord was wrapped around her neck and tied to her car's roof rack. Officer Bluew reported finding a note inside her car that suggested suicide, but the autopsy told a different story. Signs of a violent struggle made it clear Jenny was murdered. As detectives dig deeper, shocking evidence emerges. The father of Jenny's unborn baby is Officer Ken Bluew, the very officer who discovered her body. With suspicion now falling on one of their own, police bring him in for questioning. This is the full interrogation of Officer Ken Bluew, who has no idea investigators suspect Jenny was murdered and that he was the father of her child.
I'm sure you know the deal here. Al and I were called down just to assist with this scene. We got to talk to everybody, you know the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're probably going to have some questions for us too, and I'll do my best to answer them.
Been through this game a few times, so
yeah, I'm sure you
I
have.
was a detective for almost 5 years, so.
Yeah, so it's nothing new to you, and I appreciate the fact that you know what the deal is, and you know we're just going through the motions here. Basically, can you kind of run down? Just tell me what happened tonight. What's going on here?
I was conducting general patrol. I had been up in the area of the North Number Streets. We call them North Number Streets. It's area north of Wadsworth. Been in there a little bit, patrolling around. I sat at 81 and Outer for a while, working low radar. And then there's a neighborhood to the north of 81. In north of 81, west of Outer. Little neighborhood back in there. I went back in there and kind of drove. We're just general patrol. Come out onto Outer Drive, went north. Took a pass through the businesses on Freeway Lane, and then come out and went north again up to where we have our range. As I started to pull up, I saw a vehicle sitting there. I hit it with my spotlight real quick to see if I could see heads moving or popping up. Sometimes we get parkers up there and whatnot. I didn't see anybody move, so I went up, I turned, and then I turned back or turned around. It goes, Outer Drive ends, you guys were up there. There's that little drive there that leads to our range, and then that drive over there that leads over to the wastewater treatment plant. So I go up, turn around so that I can get a better angle on the car. So I drive in behind the car, focus the spotlight, and about that time, Tim's pulling up. So, you know, we kind of looked at him, he kind of looked at me and says, "What do you think?" He says, "Oh no." So he started walking up from where he was at, because he was still on Outer Drive. He was walking up towards the passenger side of the car, and I started to walk kind of towards the driver's side corner. And as I got closer, I saw the door open, the back driver's door was open. Took a few more steps, and I saw her laying on the ground. And I saw the cord running to the top of the car. I'm like, gosh. I yelled at Tim real quick. I said, "Hey, we got a body." Well, I took a step back. He come around the corner. He come around the car. He took a look. Oh shit. So away we went. We started doing our thing. And then Tim got a hold of Sean, and they started, so Sean said, "I didn't tape it off, do your thing. Get some photos." So I started taking photographs. Went all the way around the car, and then, took a couple shots of the inside of the car, keys and ignition. Didn't look like it was in disarray too much. Purse was laying there, so pulled the purse out to ID the driver, and as I did, when I set the purse on the hood, the first thing I see was a folded up piece of paper. Okay. So I unfolded the paper and I read it. It was an obvious suicide note, and it was signed Jenny. It was all typed out. There was no writing on it, no ink on it. It was just all typed. Set that aside, went through the purse, found the wallet, opened the wallet up, went through the wallet, found the ID, and at that point I went, oh shit, I know this girl. So I stepped away, I looked at Tim, I said, I know this girl. I said, I know her. So I kind of just stepped back at that point and let everybody else take and do what they needed to do. Sean showed up, and the rest is history. Here we are.
Ken, you said the back door was open. Was it ajar?
No, it was wide open.
Wide open?
Yes.
Okay.
There were no interior lights on, but the back door was open.
Okay.
It's like a four-door car, driver's door, rear door.
Mm-hmm.
All the other doors are closed except for the back door.
Okay.
Not the hatch, though.
Yeah, the side door and the back.
There you
seat.
go.
Okay.
You said no interior lights were on in the car?
No.
Were the headlights on or anything?
No,
Was it running?
no.
Do you remember checking to see if it was warm, if it had been running, or would it look like it
When
had been for a while?
Yeah, after we got the initial, after we found her and got the whole scene taped off, after I took my pictures, when I removed the purse and set it on the hood, I felt the hood. And, felt that it was fairly warm. I mean, it was warm. I wouldn't say it was screaming hot.
And only the door was open, no lights on, car wasn't running, nobody around.
Correct.
When did you first see the body?
I don't think I quite made it to the car, to the bumper of the car yet.
Okay.
It was close, but within a few steps of the bumper, maybe.
Okay, so you didn't see a body as you were getting out of your car
No.
walking up. It wasn't until you got right up on there until you knew what
Right.
you had. And what did you see? Tell me about what you saw there.
Well, I had my flashlight out, and as I walked up, I saw the door. I kind of did a peek inside, just to, see if everybody was laying there, I guess. And then I went down, and as I went down, I saw her laying there, and that's when I saw the cord running, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I got a little closer, I looked, saw the cord was around her neck, followed the cord up, saw it was attached to the luggage rack. I'm like, oh boy. So I called, that's when I told Tim, I said, hey, we got a body over here.
Okay. After you told Tim you got a body, then what did you guys do?
He came around, did basically the same thing. Checked everything, checked it all out, and then we backed away. He got on the phone with Sean, and Sean said, tape it off and start taking photos. So we just went into that mode and started doing what we had to do.
Did you guys check for vitals?
Hmm.
Was it, why not?
I don't know. I guess probably not to disturb. There was no movement, and when I looked, there was, from a distance, there didn't appear to be any chest rise. Lips were kind of bluish. It wasn't giving me the impression that it was, that she was alive, so.
And what was the purpose of grabbing a purse and looking through the purse?
To identify the driver, to identify the person with the vehicle.
And that's when once you saw the ID, that's when you realized you knew the person? And Tim did not go in the vehicle, right?
I don't believe he did, though.
Was Sean there when you guys were doing the vehicle?
No.
So after that point, what happened?
Sean showed up and took control of the scene from there. he performed his own inspection. I'm not sure if I or Tim, I don't remember who gave him, I think I did, I think I gave him the note and the ID. And he went up, did his look around, got on the phone with the medical examiner, did his MESI stuff, and basically we just kind of stood by at that point. There came a point in time, and I don't remember the exact time, but I got called away to help Sarah out on a beanie it was a fresh beanie that she thought she had somebody inside the house. So Sean says, "You go, Tim and I'll stay here and, you know, wait for the funeral to show up."
So you saw that note before you saw her ID?
Yes. The note was laying folded up right on top of the purse. The purse was open. It was a big, I mean, the purse was probably that big.
Okay.
It was open like this, and the note was laying right on top.
Okay. So in the purse, but on top of all the contents in the purse? All right. Do you know who did the notification to the next kin?
I assume Sean did. It would have been his scene, he was in charge, so.
At that point, Sean knew that you knew her, right?
Yes.
Okay.
When Sean arrived, I told him that I knew her.
Do you know her family? Tell me about how you knew her.
I met her, probably more than 10 years ago.
Okay.
When I first started out here, just in my normal duties, we would do bar checks, and she used to frequent the Backstreet Bar over in Holland. I got to know the waitresses and the people over there. She was in there, we got introduced, you know, it was, you know, we just talked, you know, started up a casual friendship and been touch and go ever since. I mean, we talk for a while and then we kind of do our own thing and go our separate ways, and, you know, out of the blue, you know, she'll call me or I'll call her, and hey, what's going on, you know.
Was she working there, or was she just a patron?
Just a patron.
Okay.
She knew most of the people that worked there.
How old is she?
She's younger than I am, probably 30, between 30 and 35. I don't know her exact birthday. I don't remember from seeing her ID, so.
Is she a local gal?
The last I knew, she lived in the city, but I know that she had gotten broken into a few times recently. She called and told me that, and it was my understanding that she had moved back in with her parents.
Okay. Do you remember where in the city?
No.
Where do her parents live?
No clue.
Do you know if they're in the area, or?
They're in the area. I think it's somewhere in Bridgeport, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the address is or anything like that.
When was it she was broken into?
She's been broken into 3 times in the last... I want to say the first one was April or May.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
So it's pretty recent stuff?
Yeah, they were all in 2011. They were all summertime
Okay.
of 2011.
Is that why she moved in with her parents?
That's what she did. That's what she told me. I mean, she's like she told me she just couldn't stand to live there anymore. She was just, you know, she just too afraid.
Any idea how long she's been living with her parents?
No.
And she told you about these break-ins. Did she tell you right after they happened, or is this just...
The first one, no. The first one was, I don't remember. It was a short time later, not much. The second one, I think I talked to her the day after that. And, you know, she was like freaking out. She was like, what am I going to do? She was crying, and I mean, she was not in a good frame of mind. I mean, she was just, you could tell she was really scared.
You know much about it? I mean, was it something where home invasion, she was home, or was it
No.
she was gone?
No. I remember saying, thankfully I wasn't here when it happened.
Okay. So she didn't get hurt or
No.
robbed or anything? Just
No.
place was being eaten?
Correct.
How often did you talk to her?
It varied. I mean, it could be, you know, sometimes it was once or twice a day. Other times it was once or twice a week.
Okay. And over the last 10 years?
Oh, it was on and off. I mean, there was quite a while where we didn't talk at all. I just, you know, she was doing her own thing and I was doing mine, and, you know, like I said, it wasn't anything that we just, you know, that we had to talk to each other every day or anything like that.
Was she married, have kids, anything like that?
She was not married, but she was pregnant.
Boyfriend?
Not one she spoke of.
She in trouble with any drugs or anything like that?
Not that I know of. Drank a lot, or drank frequently. I wouldn't call her an alcoholic, but drank frequently, but I'm not aware of any drug use.
Was she working?
As far as I know,
What did she do, where did she work?
no idea. Some kind of parts supply place or something or other.
Like auto parts?
I don't know. I don't have any idea what kind of parts they were. I just remember saying something about having to ship out orders and stuff like that, so.
Okay. When was the last time you talked to her?
She called, actually, last night. She called me, didn't leave a didn't leave a message. Did she leave a message? Yeah, she did. She left a message to say, hey, what's up? Give me a call when you can. Something like that. And I called her back, I don't know, sometime around 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. And I didn't get an answer from her.
Did you leave her voicemail or anything?
No.
Did she call you back?
No.
What was her mood or demeanor last time you talked to her?
Not normal. Usually she was a pretty happy, jovial person. She just, I don't know, said she was tired, wasn't feeling good, but just uncharacteristic for her. Usually when we talk, she's just, bouncing off the walls. Yeah, this is going on and that's going on and yada, 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 but it's been, and it's been like that for a few months now. When she talks, just something different about her. And, I guess I just chalked it up to, the stress of getting broken into and being back with her parents or in her parents' house or whatever, and, being pregnant. My wife was pregnant, many years ago. She was moody too, so I guess I just kind of let it go at that.
Okay.
Sure. I wasn't clear. When was the last time you actually talked to her?
Yesterday. Would have been the day before yesterday now, but...
Today's now Wednesday.
Yeah, well, it would have been...
During the day Tuesday?
No, would have been, I think, Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I chatted with her briefly on Monday.
She call you, you call her?
Don't remember.
Okay.
I think she called me, but I won't swear to that.
During these times, you said her mood kind of changed. She mentioned anything specific that she was having problems with?
No, not really.
What about her health?
She never made mention of anything.
Okay. When's the last time you actually saw her in person?
It's been a while. Three weeks or so, maybe.
Okay, and what was the context there?
She was on her way back from somewhere. She was out with some of her friends, I guess, or something or other, and called to see if I was working, and I said, yeah. And she said, hey, let's see you for a minute. So we met, talked for a few minutes, and she went home.
Okay. Where was that at?
Where did we meet at?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord. I think I met her out at the tire place out at 46. There's a tire shop out there, and I met her out there, just in a parking lot. Went door to, kind of door to door, talking.
Okay.
Was she with friends then?
No, she was alone.
At that time, did you notice anything different about her? Was her appearance different?
No, appearance-wise, she looked normal. She seemed tired.
How often did you guys see each other personally?
As far as like when I'm not working personally, or just
Anytime.
in person?
Yeah, in person.
As of recently, actually maybe once, twice a month.
Okay.
Maybe 3 times a month.
What's recent?
Within the last few months or so.
Okay. Do you notice any change in her?
No, I mean, like I said, she didn't seem the same person that I remembered her being. She seemed more stressed, tired all the time.
Was that, and when you guys saw each other, what did you do? What?
Talked for a few minutes.
Okay. Is it a lot of times when you're working? Was it personal time?
No, it's always when I was working.
Okay. Where did you normally see her at?
Usually, just at a random parking lot.
Okay.
You know, somewhere in town.
And it was just to stop and chew the fat?
Basically, yeah.
Where was it in the city that she lived?
I don't know.
I mean, was it somewhere on the east side, west side?
I don't think it was on the east side.
Okay. And I guess what I'm getting at is, if she's calling you to see if she can meet to talk to you, was she coming from long distance, or did she have business over here where she'd stop by and talk to you?
She had a lot of friends that, scattered all over the place from what I understood. I never met any of her friends. She never showed up with any of her friends or anything like that. She lived fairly close, but I don't know, I don't know where she lived.
What kind of car did she drive?
That one is her regular car. I didn't recognize it at the time.
Okay.
There's a lot of those cars, and it, like I said, wasn't focusing on the vehicle per se. I was trying to look inside the vehicle. I was looking past most of the characteristics that would ordinarily stick out, because I was busy focused on what was possibly inside or what could be inside. It didn't dawn on me until, like I said, started, putting pieces together, and then I was like, okay, this is her car.
Well, anytime you're coming up to a car at night and on a dirt road, you're not really paying attention to the car.
I'm not looking at...
You're looking to see what's inside, so
Correct.
you don't get hurt. Did you see any, obviously you don't know anything about drugs, or you said she never mentioned anything about her health. Did she ever make mention of being on any prescription meds, or was she seeing a therapist or anything like that?
Just going to her doctor's appointments for her pregnancy. But as far as like the psychologist or anything like that, nothing I'm aware of.
Okay. What did she tell you about the pregnancy?
Not a whole lot. When I see her, usually the first question is, hey, how you feeling? How's it going? Everything good with you and the baby? That kind of stuff. It's none of my business. So I didn't want to pry into her personal life that much. So I just, whatever she volunteered to tell me is what she told me, and usually it wasn't much.
But everything seemed to be going okay with it.
As far as her health was, yeah.
What'd she tell you about the baby's daddy?
She didn't. Never said anything about it. So I wasn't aware that she was dating anybody, but, yeah.
Is that something she would have told you?
No, not really.
How'd she seem about being pregnant? I mean, you said her health was good and all that kind of stuff, but...
Whenever I would ask her, you know, hey, how are things going, I pretty much got the answer, baby's healthy and I'm doing good. And she kind of left it at that. Not typical for her. Like I said, she was usually a bubbly, outgoing person, talked all the time about anything and everything. And it just, I don't know, it just seemed different. She was just more reserved.
Like you mentioned, you know, your wife was pregnant one time and she got moody. You know, it's hard to tell sometimes if gals are having a hard time, they got all those freaking hormones going and all that crap. And if it's not somebody that you see a lot of times, you may not notice a change as much.
Well, like, other than just an overall appearance of being down and tired. It's, you know, just not her normal runabout self.
Was she taking care of herself, though?
As far as I know.
Okay. I mean, you didn't see where she was neglecting herself or anything like that?
It appeared to be.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier, Ken, that she drank quite a bit. Was she still doing that while she was pregnant?
And not to my knowledge.
Okay, you think she changed that a little bit?
I would hope so, but I don't know.
She ran around a lot and had a lot of friends. You know some of her friends that might have some insight on how she was feeling, or?
I don't know any, I mean, all I know is her. I don't know any of her, you know, her associates or friends or anything like that. Whenever she would stop out to see me, she never brought anybody with her.
So you've never met any friends of hers?
I guess I can't say never, because when she was frequenting the back street,
Oh,
there were
they may have
people.
been in there.
Well, she was friendly with the wait, you know, with the wait staff, but.
Said she moved in with her parents. I'm assuming they're both alive. Do you know if she had brothers or sisters? She ever mentioned being close to anybody like that?
I think she had a sister.
Older, younger?
Oh.
Did she ever talk about she was close with her sister? I mean, or just remembering a sister?
I think the way it sounded, she was pretty close with her sister.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what would cause her to do this. I mean, it sounds like she was a pretty happy person. Sounds like she was, comfortable with the pregnancy, and sounds like she was employed. You didn't notice any big changes in her. Any thoughts on that?
No. I mean, when I read the suicide note, it seemed to me that there was more there than she was letting on. At least, when she would talk to me, it just seemed like there was more that she was dealing with than what she told me.
Do you remember what she was talking about in the suicide note, some of the things that she was talking? I don't have it here in front of me.
It talked about the robberies, it talked about the pregnancy, it talked about being sorry. I can't recite it for you, but it talked about being a failure and something about lying to people.
What would she be lying about?
I don't know.
I remember it said something in the note about the pregnancy, and I think the name was Chris. Does that ring a bell?
I think I do remember seeing something in there about that.
Okay. Does that name mean anything to you? And, the obvious question is, did you have a relationship with her, or is this just something where you guys were just friends?
A physical relationship? No.
Okay. You mentioned your wife. Are you currently married now?
Okay.
So that when you talked to her, well, the phone calls, Monday, did you say 8, Monday night?
No, it was during the afternoon.
Okay, but you guys never talked to each other, it was just trading phone calls?
When are you talking about?
I guess I'm not clear, that's what I'm asking.
The last time, Al asked when the last time I actually talked to her, where I spoke to her.
Okay.
I believe it was Monday, and it was Monday afternoon. Yesterday, she called and left me a message, hey, what's up, I'm passing through, if you got time to stop, something along those lines. I called her back a few minutes later, hey, what's going on? She didn't answer, just to say, hey, what was going on, but she didn't answer the phone, so.
Okay, that's what I was confused on. But she never called you back.
I know. Like I said, I was just going to send her a hey back, hey, what's going on? But she didn't answer the phone, and I didn't bother to leave a message. I figured, caller ID nowadays, she would know that I called, and if she had time, she'd call me back, but I never heard from her.
All right. What did you guys talk about on Monday when you saw her or talked to her?
Just chit chat. Hey, what's happening? Because I think Monday was my late day. I worked Monday night, but I didn't go until 10. She asked what I was doing, and I said that just get ready to take my kid to football practice, get him ready, go into practice.
She tell you what she was doing that day, or make any mention about how she was feeling or anything like that?
No, I mean, I think she said she was at work, but other than
Nothing
that,
unusual?
no. I mean, it wasn't a very long conversation, a couple minutes maybe.
You know, one of my concerns is obviously, we gotta talk to you and Tim, because it was brought up that you knew this gal.
Right.
Yeah, and I've got some questions. You know, when you come up and you see the vehicle and stuff, and there's a lot of vehicles like that, I guess, you know, I understand that. Sounds like you knew her pretty well, I mean, well enough to recognize her.
Okay.
And it just, you hear the plate, you get the note out, you see the name on it, and then you see her ID. What were you thinking? I mean, what was going through your head?
Well, as I'm starting to hear all of this stuff, I'm going, the first thing that went through my mind is, can't be. And as I'm doing that, I'm going through her bill folder or whatever it was. There's her ID, and I'm like, oh, shit, it is. So, I mean,
How did you not recognize her when you first walked out?
I guess that's what I'm asking, yeah.
Well, given the position that she was in, and it was, I mean, that's the hard part, is she was laying on her back, but the way her head was twisted, I mean, it just, and when I saw the body, I went, okay, body, I go into work mode. Anybody else around? Is there anybody else in the car? Start looking around. No? Okay, everything's good. Got a body, Tim. You know, he came over and took a look. Until I started going around doing all this other stuff, the pieces started falling in line. Like I said, you know, she's, you know, got a bunch of stickers on the back of her car. I didn't see those at the time I first pulled up on the car.
The contacts you had with her, is that the vehicle she normally drove?
Usually.
Does she have any other vehicle?
I don't know.
Are you aware of any other vehicles?
When I've seen her, it's always been in that one.
It's always been in that vehicle when you've seen it, okay. You say stickers on the car, what?
Like on the back, just.
Oh, like bumper stickers and
Yeah.
stuff displayed on it? Okay.
But like I said, I was, you know, it's like I told him, I said, when I pulled up on the car, I was looking inside for bodies. I wasn't looking at the outside of the car for decorations.
Yeah, that just doesn't sit right with me either. And I don't mean to sound like an ass, I'm just thinking, how would you not recognize her? It's just odd.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of go into cop mode at that point. It's just, okay, what do I gotta do? You know, start running through your head, what are the things that need to be done? Once I walked up, I saw that there was a body there. I took, you know, a quick flashlight, went like that. Tim, we got a body, and he came over, checked it. I backed away. We started doing our thing. He got on the phone with Sean right away and started doing our thing. I mean, once we started going around the car and, you know, pieces started to fall into, you know, place, it was like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, it can't be. It can't be. And
But
I know what you're saying. I mean,
but you got a good enough look at her to see that her chest wasn't rising and falling, that her lips were blue.
right. I said, I mean, that's not a position that I ever see her in. That's not how, I mean, when I see her, she's got her hair done, you know, I mean, all of that, you know, I don't see her in a disheveled state, so.
What's going on with your eye there? I'm not gonna get pink eye, am I?
No. I was wrestling, I got a pup at home that's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old. I was wrestling around with her, and she got me with one of her claws.
I mean, it looks pretty red. Did you get it checked, or?
No, I said it happened just before work.
Oh, before I forget, that note that you found,
Mm-hmm.
was that protected for prints?
As far as I may have touched it, a corner of it, when I picked it up. Maybe I did it to Sean, I don't know if I had gloves on.
Picked it up from,
The car.
oh, you
When I
said you had it
taken-
on the hood of the car?
Yeah, I'd taken it out of her purse, or off the top of her purse, unfolded it, and laid it on the hood of the car.
Now, when you got it, her purse out and stuff, would you have had gloves on then?
Yeah, I had gloves on then,
Okay,
but when I took it to Sean, I don't think I had gloves on.
okay. Did anybody else handle it? Did Tim handle it at all? He touched the note?
I want to say yes, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I think he might have.
All right.
Anybody else touch it that you know of?
I have no idea.
Did you guys bag it?
I don't know what Sean did with it.
Okay. When you say gloves, what kind of gloves?
Rubber, latex.
Latex gloves, not
Yeah.
patch gloves or anything like that, regular latex gloves.
Ken, I got, just sitting here listening through all of this, I got some questions that I can't help but come to the forefront. Jennifer's baby, who was the father of that child?
I have no idea.
Is there a chance that you're the father of that child, Ken?
None. None. Never slept with her.
You've never had a sexual relationship with her?
No.
Is there any reason that she would have told people that you were the father of that child?
Not that I know of.
She has.
Come again?
She has told people that you're the father of that child. Her family was well aware of who the father of that child was. Didn't know you personally, but was well aware of what your name was, where you worked, what you did, and everything.
Wow.
No possibility of that?
None.
I mean, that's real easy for us to determine, obviously. You know, and now's the time to get that out, if there is. I mean, stuff like that happens, we all know that. We're all big boys in this room, we all know that stuff like that happens. But yeah, that's a concern that I've got, is
I don't know why.
her family knew she was expecting, obviously, apparently due very soon,
I knew she
3 or 4
was
weeks.
expecting.
Yeah, and they were fully, was apparently no questions at all about it, they were fully aware of it. Ken Bluew, police officer, Buena Vista Township Police Department, was the father of the child. They didn't know much about you, they never had met you, but they were fully aware that you were the father of the child, by name, occupation, where you worked, and everything, Ken.
Wow. Well, that would explain why we're doing this. I'm not the father of the child. I have never had sex with that woman.
Okay, all right. Well, that's, like I said, that's one of the big questions that comes up. Ken, if you are in this room between the three of us, we need to know that. Obviously, as this investigation goes on, we will be able to determine who the father of that child is. And you know, as well as we know, when you're doing an investigation, if somebody lies to you about some insignificant or rather insignificant issue, you gotta ask the question about why. You know, why would that happen? Why did that happen? So, it may be a little bit uncomfortable, it may be a little embarrassing, or whatever, but are we gonna make that determination? Is it gonna be determined in our investigation? I mean, we will determine who the father of the child is. And when that's all said and done, is the answer that we get from our labs gonna say it's Ken Bluew too?
I don't think so. I haven't had sex with her, so.
Well, you don't think so, or you do that, I mean, you know or you don't. I mean, there's there's one way that a child is conceived, that's very
I have
apparent, we
that
always know
information.
that. Okay. Absolutely no way possible that you could be the father of the child?
Correct.
Ken, it's also our information that this morning there was quite a period of time that nobody could get a hold of you, or last night rather.
Mhm.
They couldn't get you on the radio, different ways, through the MDT and through different ways, they couldn't get a hold of you, couldn't get any response.
About 5 minutes worth.
Yeah, we talked like, I thought it was a little bit longer than that, but we don't have the records on that yet, but there was apparently some period of time nobody could get a hold of you. Any idea why that would have been?
I had my radio on the other channel,
Which channel would you have?
our admin channel. I had talked to Sarah before then.
Change from your main dispatch, you change it over to admin?
Correct.
Now, when they do the alert tone thing, does that come over?
Not unless it's on scan, and it wasn't.
Oh, that's the only way it comes across
Correct.
on the
If
admin.
it's on scan, it'll scan
I'm
the
not
county.
familiar with the radios that you guys have with central dispatch even now, because I don't have one, so, all right. What's in your arm? Your forearm there.
Probably from where I was wrestling with the dog.
Can I take a look at that? You got any other marks or injuries or anything from the dog?
Just that in the eye.
Can you take your glasses off so I can get a little better look at your eye there? Just right on the inside
Yeah,
corner?
right there, she caught me with her toenail.
Oh, okay, all right. Another thing, Ken, I guess that I'm really having an issue with is I can't understand how you could have driven down there, you could have seen this vehicle of a girl that you've known for about 10 years, that the only time you've ever met her, that's the vehicle she's been in, that she's been driving. You end up parking, you get out on foot, and you see her laying there. You see her, you described to us well enough to know that she's already deceased. There's no reason to do any life-saving measures, because you can tell her, I think in your words, her lips were purple, or no rise and fall in her chest, or whatever. But yet you still don't know who she is. That doesn't make sense to me.
You're talking about a matter of minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, from what you've described in your contacts with her, I guess I would have thought when you drove down Outer Drive and you saw, there's Jennifer's vehicle. I would have think in the headlights you'd have noticed that when you were back a ways.
I mean, that's a common vehicle.
You've met with her at different places. Has there ever been a time that you've met with her, met Jennifer down there at the end of Outer Drive?
No.
Never have been down there?
No.
Always has been in a parking lot someplace else?
Public parking lot.
Okay.
Public area.
She was from the city, Ken. It was better in a public spot. Why would she go down there? How would she even know that existed down there?
Don't know that either.
Why would she have told her family tonight that she was going to meet Ken?
I have no idea.
She
I said,
specifically, they knew.
She called me.
They were expecting her home before anybody contacted them because she was late. But early in the evening, they knew where she went.
I don't know. I mean, she called me. I haven't spoken to her at all today.
She called you and left you a voicemail,
Correct. I returned her call and did not leave her a voicemail.
and she didn't answer.
No.
So her phone will show your call back to her as a missed call.
Should.
It doesn't, it shows an answered call. Ken. Don't show as a missed call. You know how phone, you go through the phones and
Yeah.
there's received and there's sent and there's missed, and your call to her was a received call. Not a real long conversation, but obviously long enough to be a
Well,
conversation.
I never
It
spoke
was
to
a
her.
received call.
So,
How many times did she call you this evening, or last evening?
just the once. I
Just
think.
one time? And you,
There were, I mean, when Sean was playing with her phone, after we found her, he sent, evidently, I think there was one or two calls
That was after you guys
Right.
were out there?
Correct.
Okay.
Prior to that, that's just the once.
One call from you to her,
Yeah?
and one call from her to your phone. And she left you a voicemail.
Yeah.
And what was the content of that voicemail again?
Just said, hey, what's up? I'm passing through the area. You got time to meet?
Didn't sound upset, didn't sound angry, didn't, just, if you got time to meet.
Mm.
Ken, did you call her back and make a plan to meet?
No.
Why would she have told family that she was going to meet you this evening?
I don't know.
And then the two of you end up down there?
I can't answer that now. I don't know.
It's just weird,
I agree with you, but I guess now, I guess her letter makes a little more sense, but
Her what?
her letter
What do you mean?
about the married man part.
Oh, and the
She
note.
was talking about me.
Okay.
I have no idea why she would say something
I don't
like
think
that.
she named you in the letter.
I don't recall seeing my name in the letter, but
Okay.
She didn't say, please, Keeler.
Where's your uniform you were wearing when you worked?
it's in the car.
Can we have that before you go?
Sure.
It's in the patrol car?
No, it's in my vehicle.
Oh, your personal vehicle?
Yeah, take it home, wash it.
From someone laundry?
Sometimes I send them out, but I usually do it at home.
Okay. You don't have a problem with us
No.
taking a look at that?
I don't know.
The patrol car you were driving tonight,
Mm-hmm.
where is it?
Parked in its normal spot.
Okay, has it gone back out on the day shift yet,
No.
or is it like an assigned car? I mean, are you the only one that drives it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right, I didn't know if you guys were short of cars or...
No, they have plenty of cars now, so.
Got assigned cars, so it's...
For the most part, there's a couple people that double up.
Yeah, but for the most part, that car number is...
Sorry, this special
You're
social
the
event.
only one that drives it.
Hmm?
Okay. Did you notice when you were down there at the end of Outer Drive with her there, any injuries to her? Other injuries of any kind? Anything stand out? I mean, you described this cord, but did you notice any injuries? Did you look her over to see if she had any injuries, any?
Just briefly with Sergeant Waterman, we did, as close as we could without falling into the ditch.
And I haven't seen her, so I don't know. I'm just wondering, did you see anything?
No, I didn't.
No signs of any
Uh-uh.
injuries of any kind?
No, because when Sean was doing his MESI stuff, we went back to the body to check, to get, to go over head to toe.
And where was the body at that point?
Still in its original position.
Oh, partially down the embankment? Okay.
It wasn't moved until, to the best of my knowledge, until, the funeral home got there.
And you were already gone by
I was
then?
gone by that time.
So the only time you saw the body was in that position around the bank? When Sean was doing his MESI stuff, did you touch the body in any way?
No.
No? You were never that close, or?
No.
Okay, how close would you have ever gotten to, at any point?
Within a couple of feet,
Okay.
3 feet, 4 feet, something like that. I mean, given the position of the body and the slope
Mm-hmm.
that was there,
What was the cord thing that was around her neck? What was it?
I don't know, it looked like an electrical cord,
Some kind of a, like extension cord type thing? You remember what color it was?
dark.
Okay, not bright orange or
No.
anything like that, because that's, okay, that seems to be a pretty common color. Did you touch the cord? Don't sound like you were ever that close.
No, I took photos of it, but
Okay, and did anybody else take photos other than you?
once I took the initial photos and we got back here, Sean took the camera from that camera that had the photos on it for me, and I haven't seen it since.
Oh, okay, so as far as you know at the scene, you took all the scene photos unless Sean took some after you were
Correct.
gone? Okay. But then once you got back here, that would have been, was Sean back here before they removed the body in the vehicle and all of that?
No, that was after.
Okay, all right.
Had she ever been in your patrol car?
No.
You ever been in her car?
Maybe once or twice.
Okay, and what was that about?
Just sitting in the passenger seat talking.
While you're on duty?
Yeah.
You're always single man patrol?
Yes. Most of the time, unless we're working some kind of special assignment.
Anybody ever with you when you met with her?
No.
Did you ever have any physical contact with her?
As far as like hands-on,
Yeah,
maybe an occasional hug.
Okay. What was the context there?
Just friendly hug. Hey, good seeing you.
How long ago was the last time that happened?
Good
I
time.
mean, the other day,
No.
weeks, months?
Months.
We have to cover all bases here, Ken, and, you know, and some of that, you know, we'll go back and we gotta look at some things. We just wanna make sure that we don't get any surprises.
Fair enough.
And you know the deal.
Yeah.
And I think you can understand why some of the questions that I asked them,
I
because
just-
they do, some things look a little unusual.
I completely understand that. I guess I don't like feeling like a suspect, but
Well, and it's, a lot of times, you know, it's more about
it's getting to the bottom of it.
attorney and kind of heading things off before they get there, answering questions before they're asked, I guess is a good way to put it. And unfortunately, you're the only guy that can answer some of those
Right.
questions. I mean, you're first on scene at this car where this gal's never been before, that you're aware of, probably has never been before in her life, doesn't even know where it's at. It's, you know, it's not a dispatch call, you just happen upon it because you happen to be in the area and you happen to know her and you happen to be the first one on the scene.
Well, sure. I mean, I get it, guys, I mean,
And there was a period there that, you know, people couldn't get a hold of you. And then we have this situation with the family, who knows who you are, knows you as the father of their soon-to-be grandchild. that
I
she's
have no
staying-
idea who her
that
family is.
She's supposed to meet with you tonight.
Yeah, that's.
I guess I don't know what
here,
to tell you.
Ken.
I have no idea why, I don't know why she would have said that.
Okay.
Unless she said, hey, I'm gonna call him, I don't know. I mean, I know she called me.
Yeah, they, again, being straight up with it. They knew she was going to meet you,
And then
and they knew you by name and occupation and where you worked to be the father, as Jason said, the father of their grandchild that's soon to be delivered.
I have no idea why she would say that. I mean, that's unsettling.
They also knew that she had plans to be in contact right away with a friend of the court related
Really?
to her child. They were aware of that.
And then we look at this suicide note that you found, that's typed, and you know what that means as a former detective. Doesn't mean much, does it?
Mhm.
And it's, you know, it doesn't fit right, especially with how many females you ever know that hang themselves.
I hear you.
And Ken, we can't help but think that something went terribly wrong here tonight.
Al, I
There was a
understand. I
discussion,
know.
that there was a conversation, and it just got out of hand for whatever reason, and something went terribly wrong here tonight.
And I can tell you that didn't happen. Something went terribly wrong with her, but I was no part of it.
And you know, Kev, we're gonna we're gonna have to go through the whole thing. Cell phone records, text records, email accounts, computers. We'll get video from all the places you were patrolling tonight, and that'll help us establish a timeline, which will be good. We'll get the dispatch records and figure out where you were and when. Do you have an AVL in your car?
What the hell's an AVL?
Okay, apparently not.
It's a little thing the chief puts in so he knows, he can always tell where you were and when you were there.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
So, these things, I'm just telling you, and you I'm sure know this, they're not gonna be a surprise to you. Those are things that we gotta do. But again, it comes back to, don't let us get surprised here.
Yeah.
Because
if there's
it
something
makes
that we
things
are
worse.
going to find, it would benefit all three of us here to know that right now. I mean, now is the time to deal with some of those embarrassing things. Now is the time to deal with some of those surprises if we can. Get them
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
What you got is what I got.
Okay.
She ever talked to you about being abused by anybody? She ever talked about being in a car accident or anything like that? 'Cause she's got some other injuries, Ken.
Listen,
And again, maybe it's just coincidence, but you've got some injuries too, that you have no witnesses for.
you're right. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean,
Ken, the biggest thing is, just tell the truth.
I know.
Okay, regardless of anything else, just tell the truth. I'm sure you've told other people that. Because the truth will always manifest itself in one way or another, at some time or another.
That's correct.
Okay, so just make sure there's nothing that we don't need to know now. We're not gonna try and pull all the tricks on you and all that shit. It doesn't do us any good. You know where you're sitting, you know how all this stuff works. So that's a call you're gonna have to make. Okay, we're not gonna try and do fucking Yoda Jedi mind trick bullshit. You know that it'd be foolish for us to, because you're gonna see right through it. You'd use those same tricks yourself.
Well, and you guys are doing it now, so.
To some degree, it's hard not to. You get in the habit.
Right.
After
It's
20-some
half
years of, yep. But I think that should tell you something about us too, in that obviously you can tell that we're pretty uncomfortable about that. Because as cops, we're thinking one thing. As police officers, and a guy that, I don't know how much Al's worked with you, but, I met you years ago. Don't really remember you, but I know I never had a bad impression. You certainly don't have a bad reputation around here, around this county, around this city. So, here, a guy like me and Al struggling with this right now, because we're looking at one of our own sitting here and going, motherfucker, how do you talk to a guy about this? And I'm sure you saw it coming, but.
Well, once I realized I knew her, okay, bring it on. It's gonna happen, so.
Okay. But there's a lot of things that have come up already that, they're flags, brother, they're flags.
I know, and I don't know why she would have said something like that. I don't know why she would say that I was the father of her child. I don't get that. That totally dumbfounds me. Well,
And maybe you aren't the biological father, but have you talked about trying to help her out or trying to support her or anything?
I've told her on many occasions that I would always be there for her. That she never told me how or when or who she got pregnant with. I don't know anything about that. But she's a friend of mine, and I would help her out in any way that I could. Just like I would help anybody in this building out in any way that I could. Male, female, or dog, it didn't matter. They are a friend of mine. I keep my friends close.
Well, and it sounds like she's pretty infatuated with you. And look at it, you don't know what she does. She's hanging out at the bar, and she's got a young, strapping lad who's a cop that's befriending her. Is it a meal ticket? Is it something where she's just
I don't know.
infatuated with you and
I mean, I
wants you to
wouldn't
be the
think,
father?
I don't know, I wouldn't think after 10 years that it would be a meal ticket. We've never gone out on dates, I've never bought her gifts, I mean, and vice versa. She's never done that for me either. I mean, I don't know why she would say something like that.
She ever asked you to leave your wife for her?
No,
Ever even hint about it?
no, never.
Did she know you were married?
Yeah, absolutely. She knew I had a son. I mean,
it's clear you guys had a pretty close relationship. You
like
talked
I
a
said,
lot.
I mean, we talked a lot. I mean,
Personal stuff.
Ken, you said you had told her you'd help her out. Did you ever tell her that you'd help her financially with the child?
I told her if I could, I would. I mean, I knew she was struggling. You know, she's not making a lot at whatever job she was doing, she wasn't making a lot. So, you know, if a friend came to you and asked you, hey, I need some help, that's kind of was the impression that I was getting, is that, you know, if she needed help, I would help her.
Was she pretty distraught about being pregnant and not knowing who the dad was?
We didn't really talk that much about it, but I think it bothered her. I mean, I kind of left that alone. It wasn't an area that I wanted to delve in. I knew she told me she was pregnant. I would ask how she was doing. I would ask how the baby was doing. We had a couple of conversations about, you know, I'm struggling with not having a house and living with my folks and yada, yada, yada. And I said, if you needed help, just ask. Just ask if you need help.
So she never told you the guy's name?
No,
You never asked?
I never asked.
Is that because you didn't want to know?
I always said it wasn't my business, it was hers.
What do you think your wife would say about this relationship you've had with Jenny?
She knows.
She knows.
I mean, she knows that I talk to her. She knows that we're friends. You know, I mean, obviously there are rules and there are boundaries. She has male friends that she speaks with, and I have female friends that I speak with. You know, it's not like, you know, I mean, it's not a secret to her. She knows.
Okay.
She knows specifically about Jennifer, or she just knows you got friends? I mean,
No, she knows her name.
Oh, okay.
Did you and Jenny ever fight?
No.
Even arguments?
No.
Do you think this is a suicide?
I don't have anything else to think. I mean,
Do you know of anybody that would want to do her harm?
no.
I know you said your wife knows about her. Is she okay with this, or does she have some issues with it?
I don't know if she necessarily has any issues with it. I mean, to say that she likes it, I would say is probably a stretch, but because she doesn't know who she is. I mean, she knows her name, she knows that we talk, but have they ever met? No, they haven't. I mean, it's just, I don't know, you kind of don't, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
You don't bring that, you know, you don't bring a casual friend into your home like that. I mean, then, you know, not, you know, she's not a neighbor that we frequently hang out with or anything like that.
So would she have any reason to hurt her?
My wife?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. Excuse me just a second, Ken. What do you think I ought to do here, Ken? What would you do?
Do your job, I mean. It's gotta be investigated. I mean, there isn't any way around it.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, painting that picture, I'm sure you would agree, shit is just fucked up,
Yeah.
quite frankly. And it doesn't look real good. So I have to, not just, you know, from the criminal investigation side, but I want to make sure that you're square too, if that's the case. As long as you tell me the truth, all this stuff will check out and we'll be fine. And it's covering you too, you know that.
Yeah.
But again, man, don't put us in a position where something bites us.
Right. Hey, I'm with you.
Because it won't be just us. I mean, it'll be everybody at this department, be everybody in Saginaw area that you work with.
Right.
It'll be smacking them in the face.
Right. You know, I get it. I mean, you know, I was sitting here, you guys leave the room, and I'm sitting here thinking, why on earth would she say that? And I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for that. I mean...
Especially to go so far as to tell the family that.
Right. I don't get it. I
You know,
don't.
is it something where she wanted to be with you so bad that if she can't have you and can't have her family, that she's gonna end it?
I don't know. If it was, she's never said anything like that to me. She's never given me that impression. She's never, you know, she's never come out and said, you know, if she wants me to leave my wife for her, says she wants to have a relationship with me, that she wants anything. I mean, she's never said any of that to me.
Was she mental?
Not that I know of.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it. I mean, the way you were talking about her,
Right.
it
I mean,
was pretty
she
decent.
seemed like she had her head screwed straight. I mean,
Sucks.
tell me about it.
I mean, it's shitty enough for anybody, but especially when it's somebody you know.
Yeah. And then, you know, oh, I know and know it has to happen. It's just, you know, sitting here going through this and, you know, feeling like I'm the one, you know, being accused of doing something to her.
Yeah. And I don't want to go that far to actually say those words. You know that, because
But,
it's
yeah,
not
but it's-
comfortable for me.
right, but it's there.
With all that shit that we just talked
Mhm.
about, man, it just fucking stinks. Fucking stinks, because there's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. I don't like being in this position.
You and me both.
But I can appreciate that, because I don't know how I would feel if I was in your shoes right now. I feel for it, I do.
But that just totally, one, doesn't seem like her, and two, if it is her, then boy, does she really snow me, because I never saw that side. I never would have expected that from her.
I just, Al went out to get camera, we're gonna take some pictures of your arm and your eye real quick. with a flash.
Yeah, you think it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to look.
Have your head there.
Scratch there.
You know what that's from, Jim?
I can't see back there, I don't know what you're talking about. I have,
Right.
Just a little bit of a mark on your skull.
probably a lot of damn mosquitoes that were up there.
Ken, like we asked before about, getting your uniforms for you, because they're out in your truck, I'm gonna ask for consent to go get them out of your truck. And then also, buckle swab.
Why don't you turn it this way?
And what I did here is, we didn't have the right consent form, so what I did was, this one is for blood. I just crossed out blood withdrawn by a doctor, nurse, medical technician, throw in DNA obtained by Michigan State Police via buckle swab. And then the other one is the trucks, straightforward. Cross that one out. Cross that one out. What color is your pickup?
So, great.
Semi cab, four-door? Regular cab?
It's a four-door extended cab.
Obviously, you've seen this kind of thing before, and I'll just need you to print, sign, and put the time down, and I'll have Al sign it. And obviously, you're under no obligation to do so. You know what your rights are. Just simply ask for your consent.
Why is it that I'm feeling more and more like a suspect every minute that goes by here?
Well, we've kind of discussed the issues, and we've talked about what we're seeing and what we're thinking, and I think you can understand, we've got to do what we've got to do. We've got to do this investigation. And sort it all out. Answer as many questions as we can. No different than any investigation that you've done, many of them in your career. Got to answer as many of the questions that are out there as can be answered, and that's what we're trying to do. Answer as many of those questions as we can answer. And our hope is at the end that everything is good. Are you uncomfortable giving the consent? Are you unsure if you want to do that?
I'm just uncomfortable with the whole thing, I mean.
Well, I understand that, we both understand that. And I can tell you that sitting on this side of the table, for me, it's very uncomfortable for me too.
Sit here and to know that you've not done anything wrong, but still feeling like you did.
Sure, that's a tough spot. But, you know, as we discussed, discussed before too. The truth will manifest itself at some point or in one fashion or another, and
Sure.
like you said, you don't have any concerns here, so.
I know. I can tell you one thing though, guys. I did in fact sleep with her. It was a while ago, but I can't say that she ever told me that her baby, or this baby was mine.
How long ago was it? Was the timing right that it could be?
I don't know, I don't even remember. I mean, it was...
So it's our understanding from what we've been told that she's about 8 months pregnant. Puts us back around the first of the year, January-ish.
Guess I never really did the math on it, but... Yeah, I suppose it could be. I suppose it could be about that time. So, if this baby is mine... Wow.
You don't see us jumping up and down, do you?
No, but...
But, you know, as we discussed
I
before,
just-
Ken, it's,
No, it went from bad to worse, guys, I know.
well, it didn't go from bad to worse because you're answering a question and getting out ahead of something that we were gonna find out anyway,
Mhm.
right?
I don't know if it is or not, I mean...
But if there's a possibility, that's what we wanted to know. That's
I mean, I know
important
that
that we
we-
know it's possible.
I know that we used a condom, I know that she said she was on the pill.
Well, before I do this, I'll put the name on here. B-L-E...
U-E-W.
U-E-W.
I guess I just didn't come out with it in the beginning because, you know, my wife and...
We understand that, Ken, we understand that. I think I told you before, that's a very sensitive situation, and we understand that.
Something on my head, too.
Just a little bit of a scrape or something, right on the edge of your hairline there.
I think mosquito bites.
Yeah.
Need something to eat.
You didn't have breakfast this morning? The date here, there's another line for date, I didn't even notice that till now. Can you put the date on that line? And the time? 9:30.
Did she talk to you about the possibility that that was your child?
Not really. I mean,
Tell me
she
what
kind
not really means.
she kind of hinted at it, and I said, Jen, I said, oh, it's possible. I said, you were on the pill, and I used the condom. And she said, so I'm saying is it's possible. I said, okay, well, it's possible, it's possible.
Did that concern you?
Yeah, of course it concerns me. But, you know, at that point, the deed was done, what are you gonna do about it? I mean,
When did you have that conversation with her?
a few months ago.
So she was well into it by then?
Yeah.
She asked for a paternity test or anything?
No.
She hadn't mentioned anything about that. Had she mentioned anything about friend of court to you?
I think, yeah, she did once. She said something about, you know, she was gonna have to go and, how did she phrase it? She said, from the people that she's talked to, she's gotta give them a list of 5 people that she slept with who could potentially be fathers, and, you know, they would then have to be contacted, and I presume vocal swabs and DNA tests done to prove who the father was, type of thing. But did she come out and say that she was going to come after me for child support? No.
When she talked about having to submit a list of 5 names, did she indicate you were gonna be one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Were you gonna be on the list?
Yeah.
So, if that had all gone through and you are the father, it would have been determined through that, obviously.
Sure.
And you said earlier that your wife was aware of your friendship with Jennifer?
Mm-hmm.
Was she aware of any of this other stuff?
No, she wasn't. You know, many years ago, I had an affair that we worked through, and, you know, things have been, you know, been much better. And I don't know, it was one of those things where it just kind of happened, and as cliche as it sounds, that's kind of what happened. I don't remember the condom breaking. You know,
Where was that?
that was on my personal time.
At her house, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, we met at a park.
Did the condom break?
I don't know. I don't think it did. It didn't seem like it did when I removed it, but who knows?
Did your conversations with Jennifer about the father of the child ever get into other possibilities? I mean, did
As
she...
far as names.
But I guess, I mean, she would know whether there's other possibilities of being the father or not. Did she ever talk about that?
She said I wasn't the only one,
Okay.
but she didn't tell me who. She didn't give me names of other guys that she slept with.
But she didn't say that it can't be anybody but you, Ken?
Right. And I apologize for that. I should have said it up front, but...
Well, I'm sure, Ken, that you can appreciate that. The bigger problem is, big deal, you slept with her. Okay. The bigger problem is now, what am I supposed to believe?
Now it looks like I killed her. And all I can tell you is I didn't. I didn't have anything to do with it.
But again, don't let something come up and bite us, like it just did. Because this was an easy part. You know, that part, I don't want to say easy, because it was uncomfortable, but it's small potatoes.
No.
But if there's something else that we need to know, now's the time.
You got it. I mean, you know, have I been in her truck? Yep, been in her truck. Told you that. Yeah. Have we had sex? Yep. Is it my baby? I don't know. They'll tell me that. From that point on, everything you've got is what happened.
Is there gonna be anything on your uniform, on your clothes, that's gonna mean anything, one way or the other in this? Is she gonna have any other unusual injuries that need to be explained?
Al, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Ken, let me see your arm again. You know what that looks like? Well, if I were to grab you with my fingernails, what would I leave? Is there any possibility that her fingernails are gonna have any DNA underneath them?
That's hard to know. I mean,
I don't know.
I wasn't there,
Okay, all right. I just,
Yeah.
that's, those red marks, they look like they could be finger marks. And that's one of the things that autopsy they're gonna do is scrape all of her nails and check all of that stuff. It's just, Ken, that, I told you before, my hope is, you and I have now worked together a lot. We've had some association, it's always been good. I hope this association ends up good, I truly do. But we've got to do our job, we've got to do a thorough investigation on this, we've got to answer just as many questions as we can answer about this. And I hope it all ends up good, but we're gonna dot all of the i's and cross all the t's as we go through this, so.
Yeah.
There's really not much of anything that we can't try real hard to deal with if we know about it up front, if we know about it ahead of time.
I understand.
Like Jason said, the issue about you having slept with her is, in the scope of possibilities here, pretty minor.
It's one of those things that if we get out in front of it, we can make it a non-issue. But if it's something that comes up that shows deception, then it just casts bad light on everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't truthful, and I'm sorry.
Is there anything else we've talked about that you haven't been truthful about?
No.
If at some point in this investigation, we felt that it was necessary to have you take a polygraph related to some additional issues, would you be willing to do that? What would that show us?
Hopefully that I'm telling you the truth. I aired my dirty laundry.
What should I ask you on the polygraph, Ken?
You ask me whatever you want to ask me.
I'm asking
What would you
what
ask?
would be the easiest way to clear all doubt about anything.
Did you sleep with her? Yep. Did you kill her? No.
Anything else?
Did you meet her tonight down at the end of Outer Drive?
Nope.
Did you have a phone conversation with her tonight and agree to meet somewhere?
We attempted to have a phone conversation.
Is it possible you are the father of that child?
Well, I slept with her, so yeah, I'd say it's probably possible.
Do you have any questions for us right now, Ken? We want to go out right now and take a look at your vehicle.
Yeah.
Is it locked up? These keys to it here? Can I take them?
Can I go with you? Because my gun's in the truck.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You guys got a place for these in the squad room, Randy?
Yeah, there's out by the back door.